Let's talk about real life for a second. Some of us didn't grow up with the white picket fence version of a family, that nuclear family with the husband and the wife and the two children and the dog. Maybe the examples you had growing up weren't what you wanted to carry into your own home once you started your family. I get that because that's my story too. And if you're here, I know that you want to change the trajectory of your life and your children's lives. Here's the good news: it doesn't matter where you started. What matters is how you finish. We can hold on to the lessons that we learned in those seasons of our lives where things weren't always great. We learned resilience. We learned how to think on our feet, how to make something out of nothing, how to work with people, and how to work with different dynamics and people with different backgrounds. You learn how to be multifaceted in a way because you've learned that there's more than one way to do a thing. Some may call this street smarts, but you learn how to do a lot with a little. But we can also unlearn some of these patterns and relearn new ways of living, because technically we weren't supposed to come into life in that situation. And I know sometimes that's just how things are for some families. When we do unlearn some of those ways of living, that's when we start to step into something greater, a better version of ourselves, a more elevated version of ourselves, a more mature version of ourselves. Today, we're talking about what it means to be soft but strong, redefining feminine energy in a way that honors our past but elevates our future, because God isn't finished with us yet. Your softness and your strength can be both part of your story. And I know for a lot of Black women who grew up in single parent family homes, you tend to learn things out of survival, and you learn how to just get it. I see in the culture that there's a lot of us that want to get away from that and heal from that trauma. Or today's episode is called Soft but Strong, redefining what feminine energy looks like in today's world. It's about freedom. There were days I thought, if I'm patient and nurturing and I'm being too soft, I am a good parent. I need to gentle parent. Once I learned what that was. And if I set boundaries and stand firm, on the contrast of that, am I being too hard? It took me a while to realize being soft doesn't cancel out being strong. Two things can exist at the same time. And being strong doesn't erase being soft. In fact, these two things can work beautifully together when we allow ourselves to embrace both of them. I don't think motherhood is linear. I don't think it's a one size fit all. There are some things that you can take with you from different seasons of your life into motherhood, and there's some things that you need to put away and or heal from. So let's break down what this really looks like in our daily lives. One common misconception is soft equals weak. The truth? Softness takes courage. It takes guts to be kind in this harsh world, to be patient when you're exhausted, to extend grace when you could lash out. That's not weakness, that's power under control. It's in those moments where you want to cut off that coworker and tell them what's on your mind, or you want to be impatient with someone because they just get on my nerves, and you don't want to extend this person grace because, oh, you should know better by now. But let's reset our mindset around that. Don't downplay your gentleness. That is a strength. Recognize it as a strength. I feel like when I show kindness, and I'm not saying niceness, I'm saying kindness for a reason. I feel like when you're too nice, you can be a doormat, a pushover. But when you're kind, you have strong boundaries about your softness and your grace. You can be firm with someone, but also show them and extend them grace as you would like to be shown when you mess up or when you don't get something right. And this includes your kids. This is when you have power and you understand the responsibility of having that power and not abusing it. And I have to use this example. When you mess up in your spiritual walk, God shows you grace. He forgives you every single time. You are not without error. So why wouldn't you be gentle and kind with someone else that you know or work with, your kids? Your children are people that you love, that I assume. So why not show them grace? Why not extend them that softness and that courage in you, saying, me being gentle with them, they won't take advantage of me. They won't see me as soft. They will see me as, this person is showing me grace. So let me listen and pay attention to what's going on, or pay attention to what's being shown to me. Kindness is rooted in intrinsic motivation and empathy, focusing on a positive impact, where niceness is extrinsic, where niceness is extrinsic and focus on outward appearance or avoiding conflict. So niceness to me is a superficial thing. It's, I want to get something out of you, versus kindness where this is intrinsic. This is who I am, and I'm genuinely concerned for you and your well-being, but I also have boundaries around my kindness. Second misconception is strength equals hardness. Being strong doesn't mean being cold, distant, or unfeeling. True strength to me is rooted in resilience and clarity, being able to bend without breaking, to stand firm without shutting down. A good example of this is when someone is too harsh on their boundaries and they are just so stiff, and they don't they're just not agreeable, argumentative in every way, and it's just like, man, you're just so tough. Why do you have to dominate? What are you protecting? That's what I see when I hear that. There's something that is up under all that hardness that you're trying to protect others from seeing, or you don't want people to know about you because it's either something you're insecure about or something that could be traumatic. And you just put on this tough exterior to protect that version of you. So let's redefine that mindset. Let's redefine what strength is. Strength is endurance with grace, not dominance with pride. The balance challenge. So let's talk about the balance challenge. Many of us feel like we have to pick a side, nurturing or assertive, graceful or bold, strong or soft, but we're not either or women. We're both and women. We are evolving. We want to be firm. We want to be open, but we also want to protect our peace and have healthy and strong boundaries for people who like to take advantage. So let's reset our mindset. Give yourself permission to live in the tension and see where you can learn from that. You can be soft with your kids at bedtime and strong with your boundaries at work. You can be gentle in love and fierce in protecting your peace. So let's create a new definition of feminine energy. Here's what I believe. Feminine energy isn't about fitting into someone else's box. It's about embodying presence. It's about choosing elegance in a way that you move through your day. It's about having the strength to carry, nurture, and lead while still making space for softness, rest, and joy. In today's world, I believe feminine energy is a reminder that gentleness and strength don't compete, they complete. So here's some practical steps, a rhythm reset for your week. Let's identify one area where you've been told you're too soft, too gentle, and let's celebrate it as a strength. Identify one area where you've been told you're too strong, too aggressive, too much, and reframe that as a gift. Write down this mantra: I am soft and strong. Both are sacred. Both are me, and let that guide you in your week. Mama, the world doesn't get to define your femininity. You're not too much and you're not enough. You're soft, you are strong, and both qualities are powerful in their own right. So lean into both. Let your softness be a safe place and let your strength be a steady foundation. That's not weakness. That's wholeness. If this podcast spoke to you, I'd love for you to follow the show so you never miss an encouragement like this. Share it with a friend who's navigating the same journey. And come connect with me on Instagram at 31her_podcast. Be sure to click the link in my bio to get access to all things 31her, where I share my daily rhythms for faith, motherhood, and wellness. Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to my podcast today. If this episode encouraged you, take a second to follow, rate, or share it with a friend who you may think need a reset. If you're craving more content and tools for your everyday life, head on over to my31her.com or connect with me on Instagram at 31her_podcast. I'll meet you right back here in 2 weeks. Until then, stay anchored.